Hello, everybody. It is time for my weekly Monday musings. And side note, the weather is terrible, just saying. So if you are just joining me, I live in Wisconsin, and today we got complete freezing rain. There's ice everywhere, but I really want to give a shout out, by the way, to my clients this morning who did make it to the gym because you're heroes, man. It was really bad out there, especially if you live in the country. So for those of you just joining me, if you don't know who I am, my name is Lori Lucille, and I am co-owner of Snap Fitness here in Platteville, and I'm also a certified personal trainer and nutrition coach. And every week around this time, the noon hour, I like to do what I call my Monday musings. And I pick a variety of topics, and this week I am talking about quitting or giving up. Did you know, and I'm going to read this statistic, I'm actually talking in regards to resolutions. Did you know that 9.2% of people feel that they are successful in achieving their resolutions? Only 9.2%. That's kind of shocking, isn't it? However, more shocking to me was this next statistic that by the third week, meaning this week in January, over 30% of people will have given up or stopped working towards their resolutions. I was astounded. But then I had to think back. Okay, if you guys know me, I love resolutions. I love goals, big dreams, all those things. I like them. I think they're great catalysts for change for a lot of people. And I'm going to be the first to admit that I used to make a lot of them, especially when I was younger, that I completely flat out failed and I was in that 30%. I gave up by week 3. However, in the last, I would say 5 years, I've made very, very specific goals that I've been pretty successful at. Now, I don't want to say I've accomplished all of them because I haven't, and that's not being truthful. But I will say that I have accomplished a good amount. So it's just, but one thing I did want to talk about, though, in terms of those goals, so I set these goals and I never gave up on them. That's one thing. Within the last 5 years, I would set these big goals, and even if I felt it was going badly, I would still keep doggedly moving forward. But you know what I found in terms of that was that sometimes I would set these goals at the beginning of the year, and at the end of the year, I would have achieved them, but in a kind of a different way, you know, like just a little bit different. And here's a good example of kind of things that happen along the way. And I do want to say that one of my favorite quotes of all times is that you should be stubborn about your goals, but flexible about your methods. And this is kind of the story I'm going to tell you now is a little bit of a testament to that. So last year in 2016, one of my goals was to read 20 books during the year. For some of you, no big deal. For me, in a traditional sense, I failed. I only read 15. However, when I sat and thought about it, I was, first of all, I was kind of like, well, did I fail? You know, because, you know, we want to be nice to ourselves, right? But I mean, traditionally, I did. I did not meet 20 books last year. I didn't read that many. And then I really started to think about, like, why? What happened? Like, I think it's important to reassess, why did I fail? Where went wrong? And there was 2 big things that stuck out to me. One is my complete lack of planning and tracking throughout the year. Like, I know, if you know me, if you fail to plan, you plan to fail. And that's really true in the case. I didn't track it like I should have, and I didn't keep track of it. I didn't have a list of books that I wanted to tackle that year and mark them off, so on and so forth. I didn't do that. The second one was my TV habits. I'm kind of embarrassed to say that. A couple things about the TV habits. Last year, we gave up cable in the traditional sense, like satellite. So all we have are Netflix and Hulu, which did help tremendously. But one thing I realized is I just, those habits really interfered. I am in the habit of getting up and watching TV in the morning. There's time I could have read. I was in the habit of watching TV after dinner. There's another really good time where I could have read. So let's just say I've revised my goal for 2017, and those are 2 things that I'm definitely going to be addressing. So one of the things I wanted to talk about today is how can you stick to your goals? I don't want you to be a quitter. If you made big grand goals, I think that's awesome, and it's hard to keep going. That's probably a little known fact that people don't know is it's easy to sign up for the race. It's really, really hard to train for it. And that analogy goes to anything that you choose to do, that you want to make a serious change in your life. Let's say that you really, really want to start building healthy habits, or you want to meal plan or whatever. It's super easy to write that down and tell people. It's not easy to follow through. So here's some tips on how to follow through with that. My first tip is to tell people. If you make a big goal or have a big dream, you need to tell people. You can't just keep that quiet and inside of yourself. It's something that you need to tell people. Why? It's twofold. Here's something that I share with my ladies in my boot camps is you need to ask for help. If you have a spouse, if you have a significant other, if you have a roommate, if you have family members, whatever, those people need to know what your goals are, where they're coming from, and just how important they are. Because if they're not going to support you, I'm going to tell you what, sometimes people can overcome it, but most times you can't. So you do have to tell people. Here's another little fun fact that I found in terms of doing research for this was people who explicitly make resolutions and tell other people are 10 times more likely to attain their goals than people who don't. That's powerful, guys. So make sure you're explicit and specific and tell people. The second is to track your progress. Create some sort of accountability. Like I didn't do. You do need to figure out some way to keep yourself accountable. This could be asking someone else, meaning let's say you want to lose weight or gain muscle, whatever. You could hire a trainer. That person would keep you accountable. That's putting, whatever. Or, let's say you find a workout buddy, which I don't like to make that person be accountable. Your success shouldn't hinge on someone else, but in some way, creating some sort of a tracking method and finding some way to keep yourself accountable and going back to it. Set a reminder on your phone 3 months from now saying, where am I at with XYZ? It really does work. It makes you think. It could be in the car driving to work. You could be thinking about this. It doesn't have to be formal and written down per se, but some way to keep yourself accountable. And the last thing is realize when something needs to change. Going back to that, one of my favorite quotes is be stubborn about your goals, but flexible about your methods. That's key. Had I realized halfway through the year that I was completely failing at my book goal, I would have made some changes, meaning maybe I would have changed my TV habits. Maybe I would have scheduled reading time. I don't know. I mean, I would have done something. I'm doing stuff now to make sure that I meet my new goal this year. But it's okay to modify goals and resolutions. Sometimes, and this is a big one, guys, sometimes we make unrealistic goals and you don't realize that they're unrealistic until you get in the thick of it. And it's okay to modify it. That doesn't mean that you failed. It means that you're being realistic and you're still going to achieve something. And that's better than nothing. So realize that, guys. It really does make a difference. Like this is a really popular one. The number one goal, by the way, is to lose weight. Let's say you're like, I want to lose 60 pounds this year. Is it possible? Theoretically, yes. Is it possible for you? Maybe not. You just don't know until you get into the thick of it. So, and there's the thing, is you don't want to hold yourself to an unrealistic standard when maybe it's just not realistic for you to aim that high. Bring it down, modify it, change your method, and then keep going on. So, those are my tips, guys. I'm going to keep that short and wrap it up. Just looking at my notes, I think that's all I really wanted to get across to you today. But again, if you're looking on ways to keep track this year, the first one is tell people. Tell the people closest to you. Second is to have a tracking method and somewhat find a way to be accountable. And last thing is realize if things need to change. That will help you support your goals. So I hope all of you achieve your goals this year. Please share them with me. I love to hear them. If there's any way that myself or the other staff members here at Snap Fitness can help you, we are more than happy to help. A little known fact about personal trainers, we really like questions. Even if you're not our client, we're so happy to help. there's a reason that we got into this business, guys, and it's because we like to help people. So please don't hesitate to come and ask for help or ask questions. We are here to help you. So thanks so much, and you guys have a great Monday.